Annyeonghaseyo from Korea. Welcome to the next matchup. Today we're cooking Kimchi Jjigae. It's beautiful weather outside and it's cooling down. It's not too hot. We're heading into fall, and the best thing about heading into fall is kimjang. That's where we make new kimchi. So I think we need to make room for the new kimchi by getting rid of the old kimchi. And what better way to get rid of old kimchi than by making Kimchi Jjigae. It's been fermenting for a long time, so extra fermented kimchi is going to be perfect for our Kimchi Jjigae. So I'm going to head to the supermarket, I'm going to get what I need, and we'll be back in the kitchen in a sec. Let's start.
Kimchi Jjigae uses a lot of very common ingredients, so it's super easy to make, but remember you've got to use the extra fermented kimchi, the shigimchi or mogimchi. For my sauce, I like to prepare it beforehand so I can mix it up like I'm doing on screen now, and that way it'll mix into the soup when we put it in there later. Then we've got to prepare our ingredients like tofu and the vegetables. For your tofu, don't cut it too small. You can actually cut it quite big. A lot of Kimchi Jjigae places have big bits of tofu, which is quite delicious. For mine, I prefer medium. The red pepper here is optional. I just like the spice or the extra spice that it adds, as well as the texture at the end. And then cut up your green onion. Make sure you save a little bit to put on top as a garnish. For your kimchi, slice it down so that it's sort of medium size. No one wants big bits of kimchi in their Kimchi Jjigae. Big, giant pieces that are impossible to cut or to rip apart. So get it a little bit thinly. And you can do that by doing it like I'm doing on screen here, just sort of slicing down the line. And then remember, it fans out at the bottom. So you've got to sort of cut it thinly at the bottom as well. Throw in another line there and then slice it up. At the top there's these quite hard bit of the sort of the base of the radish base of the cabbage. So slice it up very thinly. Don't throw it away. Put it in a Kimchi Jjigae. It'll taste great and it'll soften up as it cooks. So there you can see our delicious big and a little bit small pieces of kimchi, and it's perfect for the Kimchi Jjigae. Once again, don't lose that sauce. If there's any sort of thing on the bench, get it in that bowl and use later. And always taste the Kimchi Jjigae, but don't let someone catch you eating that kimchi. People don't like it when you're stealing the kimchi before it goes in the Kimchi Jjigae. For the meat, you want to fry it up and render the fat down. As it turns golden brown, it's about ready to throw in the kimchi, because you're also going to fry the kimchi. So the meat will keep frying and the kimchi will keep frying. And that should start to crisp up a little bit, and the kimchi should slightly dry up. So a lot of that sauce should disappear. Throw in your garlic and make sure the garlic is cooked until it's not burnt, but just before it burns, because you want the flavors to get in. You don't want to undercook it and miss out on mixing the flavors in properly. Then put in your water and stir things up. There's a lot of sort of crispiness and sort of pork that's been cooking and just sticking to the bottom of the pan. Mix all that in, because that is absolute flavor there. Put in your sauce, and that's a lot easier to mix in now that we've already pre-mixed it. And then throw in the last step, which is of course your tofu, as well as your red pepper and green pepper. Oh sorry, green onion should I say. Perfect. At this point, it's up to you what you want to do. You can keep it cooking for a little longer, say another 5 to 10 minutes. Really boil it on a high heat, which is what I do. And that gets rid of a lot of that water and you get a thicker Kimchi Jjigae. But if people like a more soupier Kimchi Jjigae, then just leave it as is. But make sure you taste it though. The last thing you want to do is boil down that water if it's very salty, because you want to add a little bit more water then. And you don't want to add more water if it's a little bit blander. Hope you enjoyed the recipe. Let me know in the comments how it went if you cook it, or if there's anything I'm missing, or if there's anything you like to put in your Kimchi Jjigae recipe. And have a great day. Thanks for watching.